Morning, guys. It's quite an interesting thing about this national service in the UK. So, I'd just like to give my opinion, if that's okay. Now, what they've said is this is the Conservative government who kind of know that they're not going to win the election. So, um, the timing of it is a little bit like strange, really. Unless they were going to do it and then they weren't expecting to call an election so early or whatever the reason. Who knows? Um, so the question would be really, would the Labour who are expected to win, will they pick up the baton? And my thoughts are they will. And probably maybe the Conservatives will try and pass something before they leave office. Who knows? That's what sometimes they do, and it's very. These things are very rarely reversed by the incoming government. So it might be that's the case now. A lot of countries, well, a few countries still in Europe still have the national service. You know, I think the Baltic states, Latvia do, and I'm not sure about the other two. Norway do. I think Denmark even do, and and Switzerland, and they've always had this thing where I don't think they have like a standing army, Switzerland, but everyone gets trained into this national service, and it's all accepted by all the people there. Although they try and remain uh, um, neutral in a lot of things. Now, in Bulgaria, where I am, they haven't got it at the moment, national service, but they used to have it, and everyone used to do it. But like the UK as well in the 50s, and I think they ended it in 63, something like that. But there's big talk now about a lot of countries are talking now about um, bringing it back. A lot of the countries who have ditched it are talking about bringing it back now, and there's various reasons for why that may be. A lot of people are expecting um, more conflicts in the near future, um, with between the east and the west. If you get the drift, um, which would probably be a big mistake um, for the west, but and kind of the west as well. Say the west, um, the middle, let's shall we say, is fragmenting really. You got Hungary, who are kind of they don't want anything to do with this escalation, and Serbia, and actually the the president here in Bulgaria has been a bit like also what his tack is. He just says that military conflict won't is not going to solve anything, even the current one or future ones. That's his stance, and they have said here that they're not going to reintroduce the national service last week or the week before. So, so the next question is, will it happen in the UK? And I think it will, because they always announce these things, and then everyone get the reaction and everything else, and then what they're doing is pre-programming. This is a well-known tactic of governments, and they do it quite a lot, really, on various things. And so they say something's going to happen, and they say they don't, and they to and fro, and before you know it, it's in. It's in through the back door, like kind of thing. They do it a lot, like. And they never asked very rarely have like a referendum. They had one for Brexit, and they actually thought that wouldn't go through. Actually, even the people that were advocating it, if you read between the lines and see what happened afterwards, they all scattered like rats as soon as they won. They were gone. They disappeared. And so, they were promising things that they couldn't deliver. They weren't even in power. Like the Farage and people like that. They weren't even in power. And they had no grounds to promise anything, Anyway, back to the conscription or it's not conscription yet. It's national service, and they say like it's kind of voluntary, and there's two things you can do. This is what they're suggesting, and one of them is like going into national service military, and the other one is non-military, like weekend work, and I'm not sure how long that's going to last. How many weekends you have to do, etc., etc. But they'll probably try and put people into the military side. If you ask me, they'll make that look a little bit more better for the young people. So, and this Cleverly, he's ex TA, and he was more or less full time in the TA for years and years, and I know people in the TA, and actually it would have been better to preempt this and get into the TA because it's good money there. I know a lot of people, a few people who were in the TA, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it, and it's good money. They have this bounty and that, and it's kind of it really is worth putting the time in to get this money, because it was pretty decent. I don't know what they pay now, but years ago, my sister was in it when she was all through late teens and 20s. She was in the medics. She loved it, and I had another colleague at work. He was in financial trouble, and because I knew what my sister was doing it, I said to him, "Well, if you're in financial trouble, why don't you, have a look at the TA?" And he did, and he loved it, and he stayed in it for years. He loved it, and even in national service, you talk to the older generations, some of them wouldn't stop talking about it. My uncle, he went to Burma, and he never stopped talking about it, this national service, and he was only there, I don't know, a year, 18 months, 2 years, I don't know how long it was then. But he never stopped talking about it. And he kind of worked in a paint factory, so like the old anecdote of watching paint dry, I think the national service was pretty much more exciting for him than his career, he didn't have many stories about the paint factory, But yeah. So is it a good thing? Well, the one stark thing that it was pretty. I was pretty shocked actually. Is that if you do TA, right, you sign up, or even basic training with the army, and let's say you do your 4 years, or whatever it is before you can get out. You sign up, but you sign up when you do get out, you become a reservist, and I never knew this, and I think it's the same with the TA, and it'll be the same with this national service. If you do national service, you're then a reservist. You've had the training, you're ready. That's what it's for. And if there's then a conscription, you're the first ones that in. You're the first to go because you've had the training. And I didn't know that. And I knew that my sister, she was put on alert actually during the Falklands War, and they never got called up. But she was expected to go, They were on alert. They were like, get all your uniform ready and everything. And they've given out these slightly more advanced kit, like the gas masks and all that. So that's obviously more investment, and she got all this new kit when they were put on alert. So they were ready to go, Anyway. So the other one is this like weekend stuff, and I think you go to other services like maybe the fire service, maybe the search and rescue, and the NHS I think is one of them. So you can do voluntary service with them. So you'd be probably, if you did that, you'd be probably still called up, but you'd be serving the military, because they need all this type of stuff, all these type of things behind them, semi-civilian type stuff, and medics and supplies and all that. They need a big supply chain behind them. So that was pointed out by I think did I mention Neil McCoy Ward? He explained that he was ex-military. And he was in the army for a good while, And so that's the situation. Now, will it happen? And my thoughts are that it will. They don't just float these things. And very often, and doesn't happen, And the question is, can they do something before the election? There's not much time now. Or will Labour, who are expected to win, will they take it up afterwards? And you'll know if it's going to happen. You'll know pretty quickly after the election if it's going to happen, I think it's just aimed at like 18 to 20-year-olds, something like that, or 18-year-olds. I'm not too sure, And they say like, oh, it's mandatory, but it's voluntary. It's mandatory, but it's voluntary. Where have we heard that before in the last 4 years? So it's mandatory but voluntary, but it's not conscription either, And it's gonna bring all these young factions of the fractured UK together, which it may well do. Actually, it may well be a good thing for that. And unless the sent to the trenches, then that's not like a good outcome. So we'll see what happens, But they're not doing it for nothing. A lot of countries are saying they're like ready to get on the war footing, like Sweden and places like that, And mainly the ones that are like very vociferous against the other crowd. So, will it happen? Who knows, I think it will. If they're floating it, so it's quite bold the way they're floating it, as if it's going to be brought in, come what may. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if there isn't a conflict, it'll probably be, it may be a good thing, especially this voluntary stuff at the weekends. And you learn a lot. You can learn a lot of skills in the military as well. And I know people who've learned the skills in the military and then they've used them for a career outside. So it's not all bad as long as you don't end up dead in the trenches, or like anywhere else. It can be a decent thing, and it does knock people into shape, and it does shape them for the rest of their life, some of them. I know people who loved the kind of discipline, and they carried it on all the way. They make, I know guys who make the bed because it was drilled into them in the national service, and they used to make the bed, stand by your beds. But they carried on doing it afterwards, So just a few little thoughts on what might happen, and I think it will. So that's my prediction because of the way things are going. Over the way. I'm in Eastern Europe, and it's just a bit more further east, and it could go the wrong way. Well, for the West anyway. But we'll find out all these things in probably sooner rather than later. I would have thought next 2 years, a lot of things will unfold with this in this conversation. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Just my opinion. Cheers.